and welcome back to another video. And today I'd like to talk about a common trap that many artists and creative people fall into, and that is the endless cycle of learning without application. Now, as students, growing up as students, that's something that a lot of us identify with, especially if we go to college and it is societally encouraged for us to continue to be a student. We wear this eternal student badge almost with honor. But if we're honest, sometimes it's merely a convenient shield because it feels safer to say, I'm still learning, than to face the vulnerability of creating and sharing our finished work. Being the student who is continuously in that learning phase is incredibly comfortable, but growth happens when we step outside of that comfort zone, do the work, and put it out. Now, whether we are sitting down to make a song, write a book, or even work on our business, our task in sitting down is maybe even more difficult than our predecessors, because in the age of instant gratification, we face a form of procrastination, which is maybe the most insidious, which I call educational instant gratification. Because in this current information age, where the sum of all knowledge on any field is always at our fingertips, it's easy to fall into the trap of becoming perpetual learners. By receiving immediate hits of dopamine from scrolling from one video to the next, thinking that in this fast-paced world, we have to suck up as much information as we possibly can in as little time as we possibly can. And after binging content and videos, feeling like you've learned so much, but you actually haven't because you're moving from one thing to the next, rapidly shifting subjects and gaining shallow knowledge of everything without taking any time to implement any of it, apply it, and learn it. The technical term for this is working memory or short-term memory, which means memory used while thinking. And working memory can give us the illusion of learning something. Like if you're in school and you remember reading a textbook and you're like, yeah, I know this, but then you go back to it the next day and you can't remember it or you don't know how to do it. So we're hopping from one tutorial to another, seeking to amass this ever expanding amount of knowledge. Let's pause and ask ourselves, is this relentless pursuit of information actually leading us toward our goal of being better at our craft? Or is it just a very, very cleverly disguised form of procrastination? See, we often get caught up in the illusion that learning more will make us better. And while education is indeed invaluable, it's not the amount of information that matters, but what we do with it. It's like while preparing for a bodybuilding competition, reading about the differences between compound exercises versus isolated exercises might be helpful, but not enough to get you on stage in the finals. Because knowledge is power only when it is applied. The bridge between knowledge and skill is in application, and it's one thing to know the theory behind writing a great melody and quite another to actually do it yourself. This gap is where most people get lost. Application is what transforms your acquired knowledge into music or writing or into a business that resonates and impacts people on a deep level. So how do we shift from passive learning to active application? Well, here are three concepts that may serve as a helpful blueprint along this path. The first being, instead of aimlessly learning in a vacuum, focus on learning for a purpose by setting specific and achievable goals. Pick a project that you'd like to finish and learn only what's necessary for you to complete it. This method ensures that your consumption of information is targeted and immediately applied. Second, it's actually incredibly beneficial to limit your information intake. It's so easy to get hooked on the thrill of educational instant gratification and allowing that working memory to deceive us into believing that we are really learning something, getting dopamine hit after dopamine hit, when really, because we're shifting tasks, moving from one video to another, it's going in one ear and out the other. So next time you find yourself on YouTube watching videos and going down a rabbit hole of YouTube videos, ask yourself, how will I actually use this in my whatever it is that you're working on today? Try imposing a limit on your research time each week, and for every hour you spend learning, try to dedicate at least 2 hours in active application. And finally, the third is to share your work. You must be courageous and decide that the track is finished or your video is done. Share your music content, whatever it is you may be working on, with others, even if it's not what you deem to be perfect. Any feedback, whether positive or negative, is a really powerful tool for growth. And also, by getting in the habit of declaring that something is finished and then moving on, you develop the embodied awareness of what it feels like to let go of your creations. This in itself is one of the quickest ways to get better at your work, because it is only in releasing your art that you can understand what it really means. Endlessly tweaking serves only as a tool to feel more lost and less empowered. And to use music as an example, there's a quote by Oliver Wendell Holmes. And he said that many people die with their music still in them. Too often it is because they are always getting ready to live. Before they know it, time runs out. You see, our creativity isn't just a reflection of what we know, but how we use that knowledge to move and inspire and innovate. Every piece of information is a tool, but it is entirely up to us to actually use these tools to craft our visions. Remember, the world doesn't need any more singers who know everything about timbral techniques and runs, but have never actually shared their work. The world needs your art, your ideas, and your unique perspective. It's time to shift from being a consumer to a creator. The most buried treasures lie in the cemetery. There lies buried the dreams that never came true, the goals that were never reached, the inventions that were never created, and the books that were never written. Don't be a buried treasure. And that's a quote by John de Jesus. If this resonates with you, I have another video right here, which is all about how to adopt the creator mindset and to actually create and share your work. Or better yet, stop watching videos right now, stop procrastinating, and start doing the work. And with that being said, much love as always, and subscribe for more videos in becoming the best versions of ourselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.